and fresh out of work from a 9 to 5, slaving at the everyday job, but I'm home, enjoying some coffee, and I want to talk some RCs this morning, particularly my Arma versus my Traxxas. All right, let's have an honest conversation about how I feel about the brands personally and my experience bashing with these two brands and these two vehicles, the Xmaxx 8S, and this is the Kraton 8S, which is pretty torn down right now because I'm getting ready to do some work to it. Actually, both of these vehicles, I have the Xmaxx stripped down, ready to put a new motor, new ESC and receiver. So let's start with talking about which one is a better basher for the buck, for your buck. Which one, um, you know, is more upgradable than the other ones. Uh, which ones you're gonna end up wrenching on more. All right. So let's start off with the Xmaxx. All right, Traxxas X-Maxx right here. Got some mods to it. Got the top steering, top plate. Got the steering bell crank. I had an upgraded motor in here, so it's my motor mount and the receiver box is open. Y kit on it. Stock tires. I had a Proline Badlands on it, but I took the Badlands off just to cut some weight on this vehicle because every time I went out and bashed this thing hard, and Falcon BMX, set the Falcon BMX, and all my guys that rode me over there, um, I would bust. Break this car every time. Front bulkhead, shock tower, anything like that. I'm not really a big fan of putting a whole bunch of aluminum upgrades on the Xmaxx. I believe that's part of the practicality and the what makes that Traxxas brand special is that their vehicles are mostly plastic and they're light and they're durable. But a big but, once you start upgrading the power system in these cars, putting big 2028 cans in here, big ESCs in this can, big tires, and you make this car heavier than it is, it will become less durable and more of a headache for you. I repeat, the heavier this car is, the more a pain it will be for you. And I mean pain, when I say the word pain, when I say RCs, I mean words of bashing and wrenching ratio. All right, that's a big thing for me when I'm choosing an RC to bash with or taking my RC out is bash to wrench ratio. All right, the bash to wrench ratio on a Traxxas X-Maxx, on my opinion, is not good. Um, Took it out, I sent it 30, 40 feet in the air, launched it about 50 yards. You're not going to land all the time. You'll take some bad hits. And the front bulkheads, the bell cranks, I don't care what you put. You could put the aluminum bulkhead, aluminum bell crank. The stuff's still going to break. It's still a 90% plastic RC. So, I would crack the bottom bulkhead, the lower part of the chassis, the rear chassis, the middle chassis. And every day I brought it out, I would have a good day of fun with it. But I also had to put it right on the bench and get wrenching, fixing little things like these bumper mounts. You know, you go to the Traxxas store, or wherever you buy a Traxxas parts, you might as well just buy the whole rack of these bumper mounts. Because if you bash hard, you're gonna break these things all the time. Ask my boy Swell, my boy Dan. We go through bumper mounts like nothing at Falcon, like water. Shout out to my boy Roberto. Good morning to you, man. God bless you. Cup of coffee on you. Um, Excuse me, just have my coffee, y'all. But yeah, like I was saying, we go through these parts like water. Um, Wrenching it every day, putting it back together every day, fixing these bumper mounts, shock towers, upper bulkheads, lower bulkheads, you name it. We're going through also this brace right here. We get broken up again. So many upgrades for the X-Maxx. It's just overwhelming. You could build a whole car, a whole new RC car with just upgraded Xmaxx parts from Traxxas or different companies. So, if you enjoy wrenching on your cars, it's just too much bashing on them. Xmaxx might be a thing. I love my Xmaxx. I don't really go hard with it as much as I used to because, wrenching takes away from your bashing time. Um, you break out, you're in the field, you have to pull over, fix the car, keep it going. But the best part of this car is the parts. The Traxxas parts are dirt cheap. You can't beat them. All right, I think that the center chassis is like $22. The front load bulkhead is like, I think maybe like $12, some $15, something like that. All these parts are less than $10. The arms are dirt cheap. Arms are dirt cheap. You can go into the Traxxas store, go wherever you buy your parts, and it's like, give me 4 of those. Give me 5 of the braces. Let me get 3 sets of arms because it's so cheap. And you're most likely going to need them anyway if you like to bash hard. Again, if you're not a hard basher, if you're just in your backyard, maybe in front of your house on the street, that light type of basher, this video is not for you. Disregard everything I'm saying because you probably won't have much brakes on these RCs as someone like I would, or some of my boys in my crew. We like to send these things every day, and we definitely put them to the test. All right, so that's my Achilles heel with Traxxas. In conclusion, your bash ratio to wrench ratio. Which do you want to do? Do you want to wrench every time you bash this car, or do you want to go out a couple times, get a good bash in and go home and go basically over the car and you'll be good for another day. But like I said, it's all depending on how you bash. Bashing is perception. Perception is one's opinion. So one person bashing hard is not one person bashes hard. I like to think I bash hard, but there's other guys out there that send these cars way higher than I am. A couple guys I saw on YouTube recently, this guy, Thunder RC, he just got this ramp. He just sends his cars 50, 60 feet in the air on the concrete. And then, he lives to see another day, or he doesn't. Another guy started watching Rick Duper bash at the construction sites. He's a guy that really likes to send his RCs. So shout out to those guys. Those are inspiration to me in the RC game. Again, I consider myself a RC savant, but I'm not the end all be all, and I don't know everything. I'm still a student in the game. I'm still learning, and I'm still willing to learn from people in the game that's willing to share knowledge. So shout out to everybody that leaves comments and leaves tidbits of information for me to pick up on too. I really appreciate it. So yeah, if you want to go Traxxas, if Traxxas is your thing, go Traxxas. Before I get off Traxxas, another thing I want to talk about with Traxxas, the upgradability on this car. Putting in bigger motors, bigger ESCs, things like that. Out of a rating of 1 to 10, I give Traxxas about a 5, maybe a 6 on upgradability. It's because you can't just go in the hobby store and be like, okay, I want to upgrade a power system. Let's say I want a Max 5 G2 combo, I want to slap it in my Xmaxx right away. You're not going to be able to do that. The Traxxas vehicles come with a crossbar that comes in across this piece right here. So you're going to have to cut that out to get a big can in here. Then, once you get a big can, you're going to have to upgrade your motor mount system. So take the old Traxxas motor mount out. Get rid of that and buy aftermarket motor mount. Get ready to put that in there. And also, if you have a 2028 can or a 5680 can, big TP motors, you're going to have to modify the area where you put the ESC. The stock Traxxas motor sits about right here. The ESC will be approximately right here. Then receiver box, so on and so forth. But once you get the big motor ESC, all the space is going to be used up. So what do you have to do? You have to buy a top bracketing system. M2C makes them. Stupid RC makes them to mount your ESC on top here, so you can run a big can. Also, in my experience. This is not a a must-have or a must-do. But through my experience and when bashing these Xmaxx is pretty hard. I'm gonna try to find it right here. I'm gonna find my mess. I gotta clean up my table, y'all. Gears. But anyway, I know I had a cush drive here somewhere. Stock cush drive, when these cars, you put in big power, they are the weak point. I see a lot of guys online and in the forums putting up pictures of the stripped spur gears and pinion gears in the Xmaxxes. Even with the stock system, you'll strip out those powdered metal gears. Those are compressed powdered metal gears. They're not true steel gears like the ones like these, like you get from Saga, and come stock with the Armas. They're very, very cheap, and they're cheap for a reason, because you get what you pay for. You'll be buying pinion gears left and right if you back water. Cush drives like water. Cush drive pin system. Or as soon as you upgrade that speed pinion, you're going to go through those compressed powder metal gears fairly quickly. So just keep that in mind if you're looking at buying the Traxxas X-Maxx and you want to upgrade it, you want a bigger power system. Keep in mind these things you have to do to upgrade this vehicle to make it run safely and efficiently with the upgrades. Also, if you want to convert your Traxxas X-Maxx 12S to run 6S packs, you have to either buy the Vitavon chassis or buy new battery trays and retainers, I guess these will call them, or buy the taller ones. So again, you're buying money, buying more parts to upgrade, more parts to upgrade, more parts to upgrade. Traxxas recently came out with the X-Maxx Ultimate, okay, with all the upgraded aluminum parts that they just went on YouTube and saw that everybody's buying online because they know that their product had some Achilles heels. And one of the ones is these plastic diff cases. All right, you get the bashing hard, a big power system, some heavy Badland Proline Badlands out here. The differential will be under immense stress in your lower bulkhead. So when you get the crashing and bashing and tumbling, all that flex in here will result in you stripping input gears and your ring gears. Shout out to my Xmaxx and my Traxxas guys. You know, the ring gears and the pinion gears are another Achilles heel on the Traxxas vehicles. They use compressed metal. I don't know why. I guess they do that for consumer costs or whatever the reason it is, but it's something that I don't really like with the Traxxas brand, is their choice in the gears. So be mindful of that. I always upgrade my cush drive. I take the cush drive out, put a solid gear. I use my 1.5 gearing. Sorry, I take a little serve of my coffee. And I take out the Traxxas receivers. I use Spectrum. They're pretty durable. Pretty good for pretty much give you a good bang for your buck. All right. So again, in conclusion, Traxxas upgradability 5 out of 10. Durability, very, very great durability, but bad wrenchability. If it's not even a word, I'm just making the stuff as I go, y'all. But yeah, if you don't mind wrenching, if you don't mind breaking your cars down, I see guys online, they come after a hard bash and take down this car from screw down to washers and go over everything. Me, I don't have that much time in the day. You know, I got a job, I'm a father. I got other things going on, so I don't have the time to break down these RCs every time I go to a bash. Plus, I bash on these RCs for 4 to 5 days a week. So, yeah. So if you're about to buy a Traxxas, it's a good truck, nice truck. In my opinion, I'm just gonna keep it real. I'm gonna be honest. If you want to get an X-Maxx, leave it stock. All right, don't upgrade it. Leave it stock just as it is. You will have it'll be a blast. You want to put a big motor system in it, you open up Pandora's box for a lot of problems, a lot of issues. So let's keep that in mind when you're buying a Traxxas. But I still love the brand. I still love the car. And yeah, I'm gonna have Xmaxx forever. So now let's move over to the Arma side, which I have on a bench, my Arma Kraton 8S, which I'm running the castle motor, and I'm running the Hobby Wing Max 5 G2. You can't really tell it's a Max 5 G2 because I was out bashing and my ESC fan stopped working. So out in the field, you got to make do. So what I did is I had this 50 millimeter fan just in a bag. I took off the casing and I just put a screw and some zip ties so I can keep the ESC cool so I won't lose my ESC. All right, so let's talk about Arma. What I like about Armas. All right, what I like about Armas is their upgradability. Almost out the box, these cars are ready to upgrade. Big hand, big ESC right away. They used to sell the EXB. First of all, this is a BLX, half EXB. Start off as a BLX, but as I broke parts, I just replaced them with EXB parts. You can see it's kind of all over the place. I got stock front arms, RPM. I'm sorry, rear arms, because I bash this thing and as I break stuff, I fix it on the fly. Sometimes I don't have the replacement, so I'll just put stock ones back on just to stay in the game. But yeah, the upgradability of the Armas are amazing. I like them a lot. You want to drop in a big can, all you have to do is buy the different slider. I think it's the 56 series slider with the different mount holes, different mount pattern. You buy one of those, you can slap in your big can right away. You want to put in a bigger ESC. The ESC mounts right on top of the servo and receiver box. You can fit any ESC up here, Max 5G2 and XLX2. Hell, I've seen guys for them Hobby Wing Max 4 in this area with no problem or no extra parts for upgrade. So that's one thing I do like about the Kraton. The adjustable battery trays. You can't put longer batteries in there or taller batteries. If you want to run 12S, the taller batteries sit fine. Six pack, so I can show you. It's a banged up pack, but they fit in here really well. No modifications needed. Maybe get some stronger straps if you feel like the straps aren't strong enough. Another thing I like about the Arma brand is the choice of plastic they use. It's a little bit more flexible and it seems just a little more rigid than the Traxxas plastic. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a better plastic because I'm not an expert on plastics, a plasticologist. I'm just kidding, but I'm not an expert on plastics, so I wouldn't know. But I do know they're more expensive to buy than Traxxas parts. These shock towers, the bulkheads compared to a Traxxas bulkhead is, I think it's about $37 for a bulkhead for Arma front and rear. So a little pricey, but I can't remember the last time I could tell you that I've broken a bulkhead on this Kraton on Arma Outcast. It just rarely happens. Even if you take a big hit, usually things like that happen because of neglect. Because you neglect to go over your cars, or you see some things broken and you ignore it and you keep bashing, and then that's when you'll find yourself out the game and spending a lot of money. But if you go by the rule of thumb, check over your RCs every time you get done with them, you finish bashing or however you like to run your RCs, you shouldn't have any major maintenance issues that keep you out the game for a long time. I also like about the Arma brand is that, like I said, the motor, the ESC, the upgradability, the access to everything. All right, everything is on like a plate. It's on the top of the chassis. You drill the holes from the bottom. Everything pretty much comes up, and everything's right here to repair. Your center transmission is right here. If you have to take it out, drill the holes at the bottom, pop it out. You enter your center diff, and you have two. One thing I don't like about the Armas is there is 3 separate ones. If you're not an expert with driving these cars and not familiar with the Kraton line, and you can blow a differential. You can blow your front diff or your rear diff, and it can be hard for you to tell which differential was blown. When I first started out with these vehicles, I would blow my differential and I wouldn't know which one was blown, so I would check all 3, take all 3 apart and check. When you get a little more experience, you can tell which one is blown. My trick is I like to stand the car up off the wheels, and I'll kind of like spin the front wheels in the same direction, and I'll do that to the rear, and you can usually tell, you can hear the skip in the teeth and the spider gears, the differential. I'll let you know which one is broken out. The center, you can usually tell if you do the test of the wheels and you get nothing, and you put your car down, you still got no power. you can tell these two dog bones are just spinning, 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 but no power into the wheels, then 9 times out of 10, your center diff is blown. So those are some things that you know, I like about Arma and its Achilles heel. Now let's talk about the things I don't like about Armas, okay, and compare to Traxxas. One, the parts are expensive, okay? Dog bones, axles. Oh, I think it was like $22 for a dog bone. $22 a dog bone. You have these aluminum brace bars. They're pretty pricey. These pins, all these metal pins, they're gonna run you a pretty penny, and in relation to the Traxxas brand, it's way more expensive. So I can see why guys would rather run the Traxxas than Armas. However, if you are an experienced basher, and when I say experienced basher, I mean some people take offense to an experienced basher. And this is what I mean by experienced basher. If you are able to take your a fifth scale vehicle, 8 scale, 10 scale, whatever you have, send it, and you're able to land on all 4 feet consistently, you're a pretty good basher. If you have your RC car and you do jumps and you cannot, let's just say best out of 10, you cannot land on your feet, you probably need some more practice, and it's probably not the RC, it's probably the user or the driver. So just don't take offense to it. Just, you know, step your game up, get out there and practice. I had to, and you would become a decent basher as well. I didn't just come out there and started launching my car 40, 50 feet in the air and landing on all fours and driving away. I took a lot of big hits. It cost me a lot of money, but eventually I learned and I got better, and here I am still learning and still getting better. But, you know, I see some guys sometimes bash the brands, Traxxas or Arma, because they say they break too much or they break down. It's really disheartening because I know it's because of lack of knowledge of the user. These cars are engineered great. Both brands are engineered great. It's really just a preference. You can pick them, whatever you like. You know, I like my Armas and I like my Traxxas, but I'm gonna say, in my opinion, I like my Armas a little bit better, just because the upgradability factor, and that's a big major key for me. The upgradability factor on an Arma trumps the Traxxas by far. You want to put, like I say, you want to put a bigger motor in it, just buy I think it's a $24 motor slider. Just put that in, big can fits. No issues, no upgrade on the diffs, no upgrade on any of those things, no upgrade to the drivetrain. You're golden. No upgrade. I mean, if you want to upgrade your steering, servo, your bell crank and stuff like that, but you don't have to. These cars are pretty much ready to go after you drop a big power system. Big power system, and they're ready to go. Traxxas, big power system, you need parts. Arma, big power system. Like I said, one motor slider, and you're out the door, ready to go. To put big wheels on, this was a 2417, or it's a 24 millimeter hex on the Armas, like that, like the bigger hex on the wheels, keeps them from rounding out. A lot of time on the Traxxas, if you don't have the aluminum hexes, the stock ones are plastic. So plastic on plastic, if your wheel nut starts to get loose, you will round out those wheel hexes, and you'll be out the game unless you have some extras on hand. So yeah, Arma, Traxxas for bang for your buck. If you're bashing on the budget, get you a Traxxas. Okay, parts are cheap. You could rebuild your whole Traxxas, all the chassis, all this plastic stuff for under $100. Arma, not so much. Armas have aluminum chassis. They do bend. These brace bars do help, but they do not stop if you take multiple, I almost put my coffee, multiple bad hits. The chassis will bend, and you will spend $114 on an Arma chassis, whether it's Outcast 8S or a Kraton 8S. And that's another downside that I don't like about Arma, is the chassis is very, very expensive. You will probably have to upgrade it if you heavily bash to an M2C chassis. That is a must upgrade. I would say that is a upgrade that you must have if you're a super basher. These little aluminum chassis, I don't care if 70, 75, Hell, it could be 80, 25. I don't care what they say it is. It will still bend unless you have your an M2C chassis, and even an M2C chassis will bend as well. But it's gives you a little better chance and gives you a little bit of durability. But yeah, this is my Traxxas, my Arma breakdown. I hope you guys got some information. If you like to ask me some questions in the comments, please ask. I don't want to sound like I'm rambling on forever about this RC gibberish. So if you have anything to talk about, drop it in the chat right now. All right, yeah. Vidavon chassis, yep. Yep, the Vidavon chassis, yeah. The Vidavon chassis on the Outcast, or what you talk about, Alberto, on the Traxxas? Yeah. Okay, on the Traxxas, the Vidavon chassis on the Traxxas is very expensive. You're going to spend like $300 upgrading the chassis. And like I said, and that's the good thing about Xmaxx is that it's light. So I see guys with the Vidavon chassis and the whole Xmaxx. I think they got the whole Xmaxx conversion Vidavon for like a couple grand. You know, why would you do that? I mean, I just don't understand it. I mean, it looks good, but you know, like that's all I gotta say. Twisted metal and broken screws. And yes, Mikey RC Fun. Shout out to Mikey. Yes, I do. I love my Outcast a little bit more, Mike. This flies a little bit better. And like I said, the upgradability is a little bit better. To upgrade it, it's a lot easier. It takes a lot less time and a lot less money to upgrade than my Xmaxx. But my Xmaxx is fun as well. Who else is in here? Yep. Yeah. Roberto, yeah, you leave it kind of stock. Stock as much as possible. Because, you know, like I said, a bad hit, whether I have aluminum on the side and I have plastic on the side, if I take the same hit, I'm still going to break. Whether it's the aluminum arms that won't break, but it's going to be the pins and whatever's connected to it. All right. The plastic side, if I take a hit, I'll just break the arms, replace the arms, the cheap arms, and keep it moving. Kraton. Now I just noticed that. So I just broke an arm. Gotta fix that. Yeah, I gotta fix the arm. You see that right there? From my bash. It's coming out the hinge pin holder. So yeah, I'll be fixing on that. But yeah, I just put the Max 5 in Outcast. I was thinking about it, but you know, the Outcast is running pretty good with the stock Spectrum ESC. You know, I don't really mind it. The power's still there as long as you have good batteries. The thing still flies, still like an animal. I might, as it gets a little bit warmer in the summertime, I might put a bigger ESC in it just for efficiency, just so it won't get hot and won't cut. But yeah, I like the idea, Mike. Absolutely. I hope this is your dad because you're supposed to be in school right now, kid. All right. So yeah, if you look to a fifth scale and you looking into one of these are some of your good options. My next live, I'll talk about Losi and what I like about the Losi and what I don't like about the Losi brand. All right. Everybody, y'all have a blessed morning. Stay safe. And most importantly, stay happy. Do what makes you feel good. And have some fun with your RCs. It's built by Rob.